Hi, everybody. So today I want to introduce you to Sky Buckles, and she was a practitioner that helped me. So what happened is she and I both practice what's called the zone technique. And I learned about this on Charlie Ward's channel, and Dr. Pete was on there and he was talking about it. And I got extremely excited. Like my whole body was like, oh, I have to do this. So I went ahead, and he had mentioned Sky during the interview. So I went ahead and called her because she does remote zone technique and she's advanced in this. So I just wanted to introduce her to you today and talk about this great technique that really helps you put it over the top as far as getting well. So take it away, Sky.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'm always happy to share about the zone technique. And I was excited when you asked me to do this, another opportunity to share
Right.
with the world about this amazing high level healing modality. Um,
Mhm.
and so, okay, so you reached out to me because I did it remotely.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
back in April. Was that in April? I think back in April or May or something.
Yeah, March or April. And then I went on vacation and came back and then immediately got into the schooling on technique so I can learn how to do it too.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so that after that interview, things really just started booming. I was getting calls from people from all over the world. I
Yeah.
mean, all over the world. And actually, it's funny too because I've really been working on getting this work. I wanted to go into doing the zone technique primarily remotely, and that's where it is now. Finally, it is
Hmm.
there. I do my work about 100% remote
Yeah.
because it was just the results are the same. They're the, and sometimes I think they're even better because you know you're eliminating some of the distractions.
Right.
Um, but so yeah, after that interview that you saw, I believe that you're speaking of, that was the first interview that where Dr. Pete and Dr. Greg Coker were on. That's yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
right after I was like, I mean, it was just amazing. All of these people. So yeah, I got a lot of people's attention. Um, Dr. Pete, the owner of the Zone School, he is he's an amazing teacher and mentor.
Hmm.
And as you know, because you're in the school,
Yeah. And
and
he's so excited. Like, he really feels what he's doing. Like he's very obviously.
because it works, it just
Hmm.
works. It
It
works.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So many months later, here I am, and have been able to build this remote business, helping others balance their brain and their body so
Yeah.
that healing can naturally occur. And so, like, I mean, a lot of people ask me, like, how do you do this remotely? Like, how does this work? So, I mean, you experienced it.
Hmm.
You're interviewing me.
Yeah.
However, what was your experience like? Like, you had had remote work done, I'm sure, previously to that. I mean, prior
I
to that
did.
with other.
So I used to have a really intense thyroid issue, and this lady did what was called quantum healing on. And after she did that, my throat ached like for weeks. And she said, yeah, I wasn't supposed to do that alone, but I did. So my throat ached as well. I was like, oh no. So, but anyway, it really made a massive difference. Like I went off my medication after that happened and all of that. So I totally believe in the remote, you know, idea because everything is energy. So, like, there's been studies where, and I think this was Greg Braden, where there was somebody, a soldier. So he was just talking about it. There was a soldier, and he's sitting in a room, and 400 miles away, his DNA is sitting on a swab inside of a little beaker or whatever you call that, and it reacted at the same time he was reacting. So his DNA was reacting along with him, reacting 400 miles away from each other. So we're a lot more amazing than we think we are. And so I completely was like open to it. And I think that's why it worked so well, like the very first time, but it will work for anybody, even if they don't believe it's going to work. It's still going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it just takes a little bit longer, I think, if you're really skeptical, you know, I don't know.
Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
Sometimes
Right.
it doesn't. Yeah. But you're
Yeah.
working with somebody's subconscious as well. So it all ties together. But I was very excited because I had a hip that I had worked through all the emotional stuff that went with this injury. It was a snowmobile accident, but the hip just kept sliding up. So I always had one leg that was shorter than the other, and it was really uncomfortable. And after I dealt with Sky and she helped me, it doesn't come up anymore.
That's great.
So, and that was an ongoing like 6-year issue. So it was a big deal.
I didn't realize that. Well, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So it
You know,
was wonderful.
so that's one thing that comes up because I, have done body work, massage and body work for 20 years. Okay. So I've
Mhm.
even taught massage therapy. And before, prior to zone school, I did leg length checks. I did, checking everything, doing all these postural assessments and so it gets in your brain that you have to do all this and measure this and assess this and this and that. And so people think that they have to be in person to have these physical
Mhm.
transformations, right, clearly you do not. Clearly you do
No.
not. An anterior pelvic tilt or some kind of
The chiropractor I would go to said the ligament would basically give way. It would get tired and it would give way, and then my leg would go up. So
oh,
that's what she said was happening, but it was a pretty intense injury. And I think it was the second injury to that hip. So obviously there was a lot of emotional stuff going on with that area, but yeah,
and
it was really
we
good.
didn't talk about any emotional
Mm-mm.
issues or anything like that. So
No.
but as you know, it's an all-encompassing modality that it will address that on a higher level.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It kind of like it releases that emotion. So you can go at things from two different ways. The emotion is very important, but you're also, when you're doing the zone technique, you're releasing the emotion at the same time. So I had released the emotion already, but I hadn't released my physical body.
yes. And so you only had 6 sessions,
Yep.
and that's it. And it was cleared up completely
Yeah.
then.
It's if I ever get a twinge, um, I just do a zone on myself because
Yeah.
because I do it with energy. So
Yes, isn't that cool too? We
yeah.
can do work on ourselves. I mean, I balance my own zones often, and you can do that in a number of ways.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so if it were to be in person, you would palpate the back of the head in an area and on 6 spots. The most
Right.
tender is so there are still some people that are hung up on that when they contact me inquiring about the zone technique. They're like, well, how do I know that I'm balanced? How do you well, I mean, I know, and if I could press the back of their head and before and after to really set that in their mind, okay, they would notice a difference because pre-zone. Now, have you had an actual in-person
I have
zone?
done some in-person stuff, but
Okay.
mostly on friends that are close by, but everything else is remote.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So you
which
actually,
I actually prefer the remote. Really. It's easier, it's faster. It seems like I had a friend who I called, she actually sent me a text. So this is kind of an extreme like thing, but she was in the middle of massive headache. So she was about to go into the part where you're throwing up and all of that stuff and having this huge headache, which is migraine. And I'm like, give me 20 minutes. and just lay there. So I did zone, I did an energy clearing. I did some of the other stuff that I do as well. And 20 minutes later, her headache was gone.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. And that would have been an all day headache for her. So it just depends, you know, what you're coming up against, but really all of it can be released with time.
It
Yeah.
can. You know, there are some miraculous results. I mean, you may say, how in the world, but it happens every
Yeah.
single earlier today I had a remote client session, and you know, I do this either by phone, as you know, that's how we did it.
Mhm.
We may have done a Zoom. Did we do
I think
Zoom?
we zoomed the first day for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So usually Zoom I only do with people that, you know, are in a different country or whatnot. But so it's either by phone or text. So a lot
Mhm.
of my clients, they actually prefer text after they've, you know, had a couple of sessions and they kind of get what's going on and what I'm doing.
Right.
But I mean, it is not uncommon at all to, you know, so say there are different ways. So if someone has an appointment and they say, I want to do the appointment via text and I will be present, then during that time, I send them the priority zone via text or email or whatever. And I say, take a look at your priority zone and what all it governs in your body, and then get into a comfortable position somewhere,
Mhm.
distracted, and then just, you know, tune into your body and your breath while I balance your zones. And when I'm finished, I will let you know. And then I send them the what to expect zone slip.
Yeah.
But the other way is that some, you know, clients will, as a, like kind of as needed, they'll send me a text in the morning saying, I woke up with a headache and I got off topic here, but I'll go back around here in a minute. They'll be like, I woke up with a headache. Any time today, can you get to it? And I'm like, yes, I'll get to it. And there have been so many times where uh, the client will text me and say, my headache is already gone. When did you tell me? And there have been a couple of times where like I
Yeah.
had I had just done it. I had just done it. It's that fast. It's that fast. It
Yeah.
is. But anyway,
Extremely fast.
the client that I was talking to earlier, this is just an example of like, this is amazing. She she has a lot of different health issues and things.
Mhm.
Um, one of the symptoms was, and she told me today that she doesn't remember not ever having this issue, even when she was young. And what that
Wow.
was, she said she would only go to the bathroom like once every 2 weeks, and she thought that was normal. She grew up just believing that was normal.
Sad.
Yeah, so 3 sessions, yes. And she also experienced a lot of migraines to the point where she had to
Yeah.
take hardcore medication. So we're clearing everything up. We're clearing, but only like it wasn't. We were 2 or 3 sessions in, and then she has had daily elimination, and she's like, I just can't believe that I thought that was normal. And then of course, you know, when you aren't eliminating or when you are eliminating, the difference in your health, you know, the brain
Yeah. You don't want that stuff staying in there.
no.
Mm-mm.
It so all these other great benefits come from it as well that people don't even expect. Because I mean, I have people telling me their marriages are improving. That's not what they came to me. That
Right.
wasn't an it came to me for, but you know, like when you are getting restorative rest, when your body feels more relaxed, when you feel more calm, and you're not in fight or flight, you just feel more joy. You feel and you
Yeah.
have more energy and you're more relaxed. Well, heck yeah, you feel like being more intimate with your partner, and you have more patience, and yeah, you know.
Yeah. It's like a prereq to abundance, I think. Health, you know, because you feel good in your vehicle and then now it's easier to do other things.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, and myself personally, you know, I've been in the Zen school for over 3 years now, and I only had my first live, real in-person zone balance done in June in Denver from Dr. B. That was my,
Nice.
but all this time I had been doing it on myself or having friends that do remote zone work on me. But it was enough to get me to join the zone school because I joined really quickly after having a few sessions from some
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
And
it
it's
tells
really,
the tale to get fixed, really does. Yeah.
yes. I mean, and I love it that it's just helped my son so much as well.
Good.
And as a mama of a kid that has, experienced symptoms of anxiety and different things, that's just, it's tough when you're the mama. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's rare. And if he has an issue, he'll just text me from school and say, "Hey, mom, can you zone me? My stomach's hurting, or I've got a headache, or
Zone
what."
me, mom.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
Or he'll say, "I'm going to need you to zone me tonight," and I'm like, "Of course I will, but I'm going to do it remotely, even if he's here at home." He's like,
Yeah.
"That's fine. You can just do it remotely. I'm getting ready to get on a VC, a video call or something with his friends, or yeah." But it's awesome. Yeah, it's just a great
Yeah.
modality.
It's great. I love it. So I wanted to ask you one question. So I feel like the whole world is in an uproar right now. And I think that healing is going to be a huge part of what goes on next in the world, because some of the healing that we're getting from the conventional sources is not really working. So I just wanted to get your perspective on that. And I know you're going to be one of those healers. So just see what you had to say about that.
Well, I believe that we really need to take full responsibility for our health. Our health.
Mhm.
Um, Take ownership of it, and seek out alternative methods and because there are so many options.
Right.
Or, I mean, because I like, not to say anything negative about um, a regular general medical professional, but they pretty much most of them are just treating symptoms, and they're
Right.
not, so obviously that's an issue. um, just treating symptoms, kind of like covering them up. And
Mhm.
I mean, that you can continue to do that for years. I did that.
Oh, yeah.
But we need, but whole body healing, holistic whole body healing, mind, body, soul, whatever, however you want to
Yeah.
look at it, is is essential. That's essential. And I mean, with everything going on, and then being and all the restrictions, and you can't go here and you can't go there, and this office is closed, and I mean, so when you have alternative methods and solutions, that eases a lot of anxiety, and
Yeah.
you know that helps. So I don't know if I'm really answering your question. I just feel like it's super important to stay on top of it, make your personal health in all areas a
Yeah.
priority, so that
Mhm.
you live the best life that you can in any circumstance. I believe that we're all adaptable. We're born to be adaptable, but yeah, then we have these things come in, environmental, all these different things coming in,
Mhm.
and these are things that we can address
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah.
Nat-
Absolutely.
and again, when you're feeling well and your body's balanced and your brain's balanced, you can handle things much easier.
Right.
And so many people are, really hyped up right now. A
They
lot
are.
of big time nervous system. They're walking around in a state of fear.
Yeah.
And
And fear isn't helping anybody right now.
it isn't. And then you get anger, the
Mhm.
subcategories of everything, fear based, everything's fear based. And people lashing out. I mean, I know in my community here, it's been crazy at the amount of homicides, and here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I mean, it's just, people are scared. People are in that vibration of fear, which is a low
Yeah.
vibration. So
very.
what do we do? We raise our vibration
Yeah.
and we do that naturally.
Yep.
Yeah. And the zone technique is one excellent way to do that. And there are a lot of other ways to do that as well. Just like
Mhm.
simple, redirecting our thoughts. If we're finding ourselves thinking negative thoughts or about what's going on or being fearful about what could happen or what's going to happen or what might happen, whatever, being able to stop yourself and redirect your focus and thoughts onto positive things. That's a very simple tool that anyone can do. But I think
Yeah,
people forget to do that.
they do. They forget, and sometimes they get stuck in the monkey mind and they can't like let go of it. They don't know how to let go of it. So
Exactly.
the main thing is to take care of yourself and to really worth it. And,
Yes,
zone technique is a great way to do something for yourself, and it's very fast,
it is. It
very
is.
fast. Yeah.
And it just keeps building. It keeps building. So I'll have people come for successions, and a lot of times, often, the things that they came to me with are no longer in their field anywhere. It's gone.
Right.
But they're like, I want to continue this as a maintenance thing. So then they'll like
Right.
start spreading. And then I've gotten some really, really interesting feedback from people that, and in fact, in the zone school, we have a Facebook page for people to share, ask questions and things like that. And I love the community.
Yeah.
It's a very,
Everybody's so positive. Hmm.
yes, it's like they're my homies, the
Right.
Zony home.
Yeah.
But I posted recently, I think it was like a week or two ago, about this one client that I actually did a trade with her. She does healing work of different kinds, and she's a musician, and she
Hmm.
just things that she said. Did you happen to see that? It was just so interesting what
I think I
she.
saw it. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, but tell us. Tell
Well,
everyone.
yeah, so she was, I actually don't know it word for word. I could actually probably pull it up and read it, but she was basically saying, she goes, this was just so interesting. She's like, yeah, actually, I
It's
don't
out
know.
of people's realm, you know.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like such an unusual thing, especially if you haven't like grown up like I did, or, you're not very open to the alternative. But once you have something like this happen, it just changes your perspective on what health really is and how you get to health.
Right, right, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So I was just, I just had never received feedback like that, or those types of comments, but she's really tuned in, and she is an evolved soul. And but yeah, it's just, oh, also, I do work with pets as well. Do you work with pets?
I don't. I
Doing
do
the,
tune into my own pets and ask them what's going on, but I haven't actually worked with pets directly. I do get like their little whatever they're thinking will kind of come in sometimes, and it's pretty hilarious because they don't like each other very well.
the
So they're always like, "Oh, that was stupid," or whatever. I'll
oh,
hear something like that, and it's just hilarious because my one cat is extremely snobby, and we then got a stray cat, and she's been very jealous of.
ah,
Yeah.
well, maybe you should read her something from Rays of the Dawn.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So like with pets,
Funny.
it is, talk about crazy fast. It's instant.
Yeah.
So and it's not like I have any kind of special training with animals. I just started when I first joined. I just started doing it. I practiced, practiced, practiced. But now I actually do take those furry friends uh,
Awesome.
as clients, and it's awesome to see that. And kiddos.
Yeah. Kids.
It's it's just so it seems like kids and animals, they're even easier.
Yeah,
to
because
help.
they're still like open. They
They
don't have all that stuff built up.
they haven't had enough like the kiddos haven't had enough time to right, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh yeah. Build up all those layers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
so this is great that you are doing this. I am so happy for you to share all of your experience, which helps others. I always tell people, like, whenever you have whenever you have healed from something that you have
mhm,
had for so long, I mean, that's a celebration. It's life changing.
yeah,
And share it with others so that it gives other people hope. So a lot of my clients they'll write, they're happy to do so. They're happy to write up their experience. But I'm soon going to start doing something similar to you, which you really, when you asked me to do this, I was like, this is what I needed. So thanks. That's just how this world works. You
yeah.
like, yeah.
Serendipity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's,
It's fun. It's really flowing now too. I've noticed like everything is like ramping up and cranking up and things are happening faster. And yeah, so I do think the alternative healing is going to come back in a huge way.
it
So
is.
yeah,
It is without a doubt.
yeah. So we're going to put both of our information down below so you can make an appointment with Sky. You can make an appointment with me. You can contact us. Sky is getting her YouTube channel started. So we're going to also put that under there so you can enjoy what she does. And I just thank you guys for all listening, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.